welcome. It is AMJ Talking About Authors Block with yours truly, the urban prophet, Antoine M. Jasmine. Yes, we are doing a fabulous work. This is will be our third episode, number three. Yes, we are grateful that we're still pushing out authors out there because authors need a plug to be able to share their story. Listen, if you are an author, you're watching, you say, I want to be a part of AMJ Talking About Authors Block. Of course, we don't charge anyone to come on the platform. But it takes resources to make things work. So we just ask for a donation to help support, and we are grateful for our authors who've come who have appreciation. All right, you never go wrong with at least putting something into the ground. If you want to be a part, just simply go to amjworldwide.com. That's AMJ Worldwide, and put in a request that you want to be a part of this interview process. You can come in studio or virtually. Listen, follow AMJ Worldwide on all platforms. That's Antoine Jasmine, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and help me grow so you can grow because we want the message to get out to everybody. And our goal is to have multiple authors that just pass through this community to say, hey, I want to be a part. All right, well, we have an author in the community today. She's coming on board in the next few minutes. She is a single mother. She wrote this book. She's have three children, raising her children alone with her community. She has her mom and others who assist in her raising her children at an early age. She felt compelled to write a book and share her story. And her book title is Survival and Strength, from a single mother's perspective. It's called Dear Mama. Amen. That's her first book. And she circled back to write another book entitled If I Don't, Who Will? Letters from a Strong Mother Doing It Alone. This is not no means to badger men, but the woman must tell her truth on what took place as raising her children alone. So without further delay, she's smart, nursing field, still in school, doing some great things. She's a woman of faith, loves the Lord, raised in the church, but yet face her transition. So without further delay, we're going to present to some and introduce to others Keviyonia Junior. Come to the platform.
Hello.
Welcome. We appreciate you. We appreciate you coming on, talking out today. So how's it going? What's happening?
It's going good. Everything is going good.
Everything is going great. We're grateful for
Yeah.
you that took the boldness to come and share your book and your testimony. Well, many who are watching don't know who Keviyonia Junior is. They just know that they see a beautiful face and we heard the introduction, but who is she? So we want to give you the opportunity to share a little bit of a backdrop of who are you?
Well, I'm Keviyonia Junior. I'm 25 years old right now. A single mother of currently two, one on the way. Um, my kids are 4 and 2 years old. So I'm in nursing school as well. So I'm balancing life, kids, nursing school, just everything. Um, I didn't really come from a wealthy family. I didn't come from a healthy background, really, with a father and a mother in the house, just a single mother raising me and my brothers. So that's basically really what my life was based off of, watching my mom raise me and my brothers.
Wow. So you watch your mom raise all three of you, correct? You have two
Yeah,
brothers, and you're the youngest or the
I'm
oldest?
the oldest.
You're the firstborn?
Yes.
Well, welcome. Look at you, the first. You were the experimental child. Well, good deal for the oldest girl. We appreciate that. So you say you were raised in poverty, where it was struggle financially.
Yes.
So describe that poverty. What would you describe poverty? How, from a child, you knew you were less fortunate, or how did that psychologically shape you?
Well, we lived in a project all my life.
Okay.
I was born and raised in a project. I went to school seeing other kids with things that I wanted, like uh basically like newer shoes, newer clothes, like so I watched my mom work to try to get us the things that we wanted, like the other kids.
Right.
And sometimes she was able to do that, but it was a struggle. Like she was doing it all on her own. So maybe we had to wait to get it when everybody else had it. Um, I seen a lot of drugs and killings and things like growing up in the neighborhood that we was in. So
Wow.
I struggled with that mentally, having to duck from bullets and just hoping that when I walk outside to play, nothing happened to me.
Wow. So you knew you were in a bondage situation, but you were
Yes,
surviving as a child.
yes.
So did your dad, you said that you grew as a single mother. So did you ever live in the home with your mom and your dad?
Well, I lived in a home with my mom and my dad up until I was 8 years old. My dad was on drugs and was abusive, so that wasn't a good picture, um, a good environment for me because not only did he abuse my mom, but he abused me as well.
Wow. Wow. So you were abused. So your dad was on drugs.
Yes.
So you are a product of drug abuse, a drug user. You watch your mom be abused by your dad. Was that physical or just mental or verbal?
All of it. It was physical, mental, and verbal.
Wow. So your young eyes was able to see the abuse in the home. And
Yeah.
yet, in spite of that environment, of course, your mother had to make a decision to walk away from your dad, that marriage, and then take responsibility for her three children. So,
Yes.
how was that for you being the oldest and watching your brothers evolve into young men because there was no male figure in the house? How did that work? Because you became their almost big sister, second mother, and mom working. How was that experience?
That was kind of hard for me, not only because I wanted to have my dad, like a dad, as a girl, as the only girl, but watching my brothers grow up without a father or father figure messed with me because I seen other like young men their age without, I mean, with their fathers. So I always longed for that. I always wanted them to be able to play outside, play catch, play football, learn things with our dad. And
Right.
they didn't get that. So watching them have to learn things from my mom's perspective other than a man, that bothered me a lot too because I always wonder like how would they know how to do this? How would they know how to be a man if they're not around a man? So that affected me a lot for years.
Okay, so you saying you carried that burden for your brothers because you wanted, so you never mentioned that your need for a father figure. You were more looking out for your brothers.
Yes, like even though it was a part of me that longed for a father and a father figure because I watched like we had father daughter dances at school. I never had my dad, so my mom sometimes would keep me home when we had those type of events because she know how sad it made me.
Right.
So that part of me was messed up too because I wanted my dad like other girls had their dad. When I was getting bullied in school, I didn't have my dad to come step up for me when boys were bullying me. I had to learn how to stand up for myself. That's why I always ended up fighting boys in school. It was always boys. I never had fights with girls in school. It was
Wow.
always boys picking on me.
Oh,
And I just wish I had my dad.
wow. Wow. That's powerful. That's powerful. So that's wow, that's serious. So you're longing for the male figure, but you saw the male figure abuse women. And now
Yes.
you're in school, there's no big brothers to defend you in school, and you had to defend it yourself. And you've had fights with more majority, or you say all guys and not women. So now that was then, and you had to swim through all of that abuse and psychology and rejection and not having enough, and your mom doing the best that she can, and not have no father and maybe in daughter day, and your mom kept you at home because your daddy wasn't available. I'm assuming that he was still using drugs or was not fit to be presentable to you, that would not be an embarrassment to you. So your mom made an executive decision, just stay home because I don't want you to be in pain. So your mom had to fill a role and make decisions as a man and a woman. So credence to mothers who are raising children alone, you have to make executive decisions that sometimes goes against the grain to protect the heartbreak of your child. Tremendable. That's commendable. So credence to your mother, and you being the firstborn to be able to see how that flows. So now, moving right along, how did your what became the anchor of your strength during this process as a child?
Well, thinking back about it, I always used I didn't want to end up having to deal with the same thing my mama dealt with, raising us by herself
Wow.
and being in an abusive marriage. I didn't want to have to deal with that. So it was always my goal to try harder to avoid that, try not to end up with someone that would abuse me. Um, it was even in my mind when I used to see my mom get abused. I don't want to get married. I don't want to never be with a man. I don't want to be in a relationship at all because I'm in fear of going through the same thing.
Right.
So I just use that to thrive and be like, I want better.
Wow. Good deal. Good observation there. It's pretty deep. I mean, it is very sensitive because you, the firstborn, you watch your mom get abused. You were abused by your dad as well, but more of your mom than you. But you, this was the child that you say you saw your mom being abused up until 8 years old, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, up to until 8 years old. And then your mom made an executive decision to move from your father. So, and you're 8 years old. So what's the spaces of your other brothers? When did it come about?
Well, 25. So my brother Kevin is about to be 22 this year.
Okay, so he's like
I'll
3 years younger than you.
Yeah, and then Caleb is 2 years behind him.
Okay, good. So you're 8 years old. So your brothers were babies. They were younger than you, but you was
Yeah.
able to see and fend for your mom and comfort your mom and make sure she was okay. So you was a nurturer for your mother. You would say
Yes.
being the only girl. Good deal. But you made a vow as you watch your mom be abused to say, I don't want that type of life for myself. So again, I'm gonna go back to a question. What was your strength in it that you didn't, one, no, became a drug user and you did not yield to possibly terminating your life because of all life is not serving you a whole lot of good things. So what was your anchor of hope during that period of time and now?
Um, I would say God and having faith because it was times at that young that I thought about ending my life.
Wow.
Um, it was times that I had to hide from my dad from the abuse, hide under the bed. So I felt like if I would have ended my life, I wouldn't have to deal with that anymore. But I didn't want to leave my brothers,
Okay.
which is why I didn't uh in my life. Um with the drug use, with my dad with the drug use, he even brought me with him to buy drugs a lot of times. And with me seeing that, I knew it was wrong. So growing up, I was like, I don't want to be around this environment anymore. I don't want to end up like my dad on drugs. I don't want my brothers to end up like my dad on drugs. So that was a push too to avoid being around the drugs altogether. Um With the abuse part, once my dad was going out of the house and my mom finally decided to let go, that was a huge relief off of me, even though I wish that I could have had my dad in the house being a real father and being there for us. It was a relief that he was gone. So I just look back at that and say, I don't want to end up like him. I don't want my brothers to end up like him. So drugs is never the answer. And I look back and I think about my fate in God at that young, like God is going to get me out of this. God is going to make things better, even without a father. He's going to find a way to fill that brokenness in our lives.
Wow, powerful. So thank you for your transparency and sharing your experience with because I want the audience to get to know you, and to get to know you, that's how they'll be introduced to what you've written because they know kind of your life. People don't invest in books unless they know what information you're given that someone who's watching can relate to what you've been through. So that was Keviana then, abusive household, fending for your brothers. So, who is Keviana now? Are you still in the project? What's going on with your brothers? Are your brothers, what are they doing? Because you're a product of a single parent. So, you gave the premise of your hope was faith in God. That means you put prayer in, attending church, watch your mom pray and believe God, the ups and downs, because life is a process. So who are you now? Because we know what you were then. So what is your brothers now, your mom now, and you now?
Well, now we're out of the projects.
Okay.
Um, so that's the good part about it.
Deal.
We're not in that environment that we grew up in. With me, like I said, I'm in nursing school. I'm almost finished. I'm like in the middle. So I'm doing good in that area of getting me out of poverty, like all the way. Like that's a curse that's like I'm just planning on breaking. Um, my brother Caleb, he's the youngest.
Right.
He's in Florida striving. Like he's a five-star chef for
Wow.
Disney World. So he came from the bottom of where we was living in things and the environment that he grew up around. Because not only is he striving in Florida, but his friends, the people that he grew up with, they're not doing as good as him.
Wow.
There's people getting killed. My friends, I mean, my brother's friends are getting killed or in jail. They're not killed, they're not dead, or they're not in jail. So that's the good part about us getting out of that environment. My brother Kevin, he's striving too. He has a good job. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's not locked up. He's not on drugs like our dad. None of my brothers are on drugs like our dad, and they're doing good. Like the from where we came from, they're doing amazing.
Wow. That's powerful. Where you came from, you're doing amazing. What will you attribute to the changes? What was the formula that your mother and used because she's the leading catalyst? What decisions that she made, what moves she made to change the objective of what could have took place? Because all of you could have been drug dealers or drug users or just out in the street. So what formula that she used that have changed and from the project to where you are now?
Well, I feel like my mom wasn't stopping until we got out of the project. Like her mindset was never to just take it for what it is and stay in the projects and stay in a position that we were in. She always kept trying and kept fighting to get us out of that position. She didn't want to see us in poverty. She didn't want to see us living in the project forever. Like some people mindsets have them stuck in the project mentality. She always wanted better for us, and she wasn't stopping until she got there. With fasting, with praying, with making sacrifices that she didn't even think that she would be able to do. She got us out of that situation, and she didn't stop until she got us out of that situation.
Wow, you say yes, good deal. Your mom fasted, she prayed. So what was the, no, I'm sure, I'll say it this way. how does your faith, how has your faith in God and your participation in a what society calls an organized religion, or we call it a church, a faith-filled church. How does the type of church, and because faith is always connected to a word or to a place, so how did that affect the decisions and the transitions of your family?
Well, so I grew up in church since I was small.
Okay.
Um, but being in the church that we're at right now, which is Choice International, made me see things differently than I grew up seeing. Like, it made me understand more of why I was going through the things that I was going through. Not because it was a punishment to me. Some things that I went through was meant for me to be able to minister to other people that's going through the same thing, and it feels impossible for them to get out of it. So going being in the church that I'm in right now has taught me more faith,
Okay.
more strive, and more push of don't just give up because things are hard and seem impossible, because it's always a possibility at the end of that impossibility, basically. So if I feel like the world is ending and I go to church, it helps me build up from feeling like that. It helps me feel better. And that's what I get being in that type of environment instead of the environment that I was in.
Wow, powerful. So you would say people, listen, people, she's given credence to her local church when people are leaving churches, but she says her local church, she grew up in church, but of course, the church she grew up in, she's no longer there. So her mom made a decision to bring her family to a place where she feel comfortable and where she can grow and see the evidence of change. Uh, do you see the difference with someone's faith who's in God that is attached to a church versus someone who says they have faith has no attachment to a church? What is the deciphering difference of the two people, you would say?
So from experience with friends, they will go to a church. They have churches that install, like, tell you things and teach you the word, teach you the fake word. And I've learned differently at my church than they learned at their church. So if we be having a conversation and they'll tell me, well, I believe this and I believe that. And I heard it differently. I was taught differently based off of my faith. And I try to tell them, oh, well, I learned this way and I learned that way. They only know that based off the, I don't want to say it like this, but they only know that based off the Bible, what they're being told from the Bible, and what the preacher is reading at their church.
Oh, gotcha.
We learn from real experiences.
Yeah.
It's put with the Bible, but it's broken down from the things that is are experienced.
Right.
So that's what I put the difference between that. Like, they just learning. How could I put it? They just learning, like, because that is the way that it's taught in the Bible. We're learning from experiences and from real life events.
Good, good. Well, she's saying, audience, that they are you basically saying that they're learning from a historical stance, but in real time, the church that you're a part of and what you're hearing to ignite your faith, you see the evidence of
Yeah.
productivity in real time versus historical and real time. So people who are watching, get plugged into a church where you can experience real time versus just giving us a history of Jesus who was 2,000 plus years ago. So, and due to real time, was able to weather through all of her mom's kids are one is a five-star chef in Orlando, Florida. The other one has a good job, and she's still here in Louisiana, weathering through nursing school to be the best. And we're going to dive into her next chapter as well, because there are still yet residue of what we call inherited curses and things she made covenants. I don't want to be a single parent, and she is a single parent, and she doesn't want to be in poverty. Yes, she's weathering through poverty, but they've come a long way. Sometimes poverty goes on for a long time to swim through it because it's been there from generation to generation. It may not just be with her; it could be the previous generation and the previous generations, and then you encounter a prophetic encounter that says, Keviyonia, you're not going to be this. And yet now we're going to warfare. Now there's a war between going into poverty or going into abuse, domestic violence, possibly a baby daddy issue. So we're going back and forth, but we're swaying, but yet we still realize we're still landing on a moving vehicle versus a stagnated life. So her life is still moving. And let me give a caveat here as well. Uh, Her brother had to leave the environment to go to Florida to gain five-star. Sometimes we want our children to stay home, but sometimes sending them away for some is the best decision could ever be made, because now his friends are dying off and he's still thriving. And because the woman who gets credit or credence is the mother who made sure that her son was okay in Florida to become a chef. And every time I see him, he looked like a different man. The transformation has taken place because of out of environment. And some of you who are watching, sometimes your answer is moving, getting not running away, but getting out of an environment that's very toxic so you can become something and create a new community of friends. I'm sure he has a new community of friends, objectives, meeting great people in South Florida is a great. So I'm definitely happy him being a black young man have made a decision to move forward. And now he can come visit his mom's house and she can be happy. I'm so happy my baby have made a great decision. Well, we're going to dive right into your life now. It is great. Now you are a single mother. You have two children, and now there's one on the way. Please share with us what happened and how you move, how you're navigating through single parenting at 25 years old. You're not 35, you're 25. So that means you came out of the gate kicking and you made decisions about your personal life, your love life, so on and so forth. So share with us that experience of getting pregnant and getting pregnant twice and realize there's no husband, there's no active in my face daddy involved with life. Please share with us that experience.
Well, I won't say that my kids are a mistake
Okay.
because things do happen
Yes.
and you just learn from those things. And I wasn't my goal was never to have kids before marriage or before I graduated college, but it happened. So when I got pregnant with my first child, I thought I was in love, like I was in La La Land basically. And everything was going great. I was happy. I thought the dad was happy. It seemed perfect. And but things took a shift once my baby was born, and I ended up going through that situation. Things started getting better. So I ended up pregnant again.
Okay.
And then it took just a completely 360. Like it was hell.
Okay.
Um I ended up by myself taking care of two kids. I actually ended up when I was got pregnant with my second child, my daughter, I ended up alone the whole pregnancy. Um, I ended up going to doctor's appointments alone. I ended up experiencing just everything alone, even being physically assaulted during that pregnancy by the dad and his girlfriend at the time. That took a toll on me as well, with that situation. And I just ended up taking motherhood as what it was, like that it was meant for me to just take care of my kids by myself. No dad involved. Um, he was once there for my son when he was born, and when he was up until he was 2, he was there like doing farther things. Then he just stopped. With my daughter don't even know him anymore. Like, she don't know that that's her dad. She don't know who the person is. Like, it's just me and my kids basically. Like, my mom ended up with just me and my brothers. It's that with me and my kids, and I'm just taking like the single motherhood and striving from it. Like, it's nothing that I could do to change it at the moment. Like, I can't go back in time and fix it, so I just have to take it for what it is and do the best that I can at raising my kids by myself.
Well, I think I give you credence that you are mature enough to take responsibility. There is, like you said, La La Land can give you false perception. The baby's father, your kid's father, could be at that time you were in your like 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
So you are a fresh teenager coming out of teenage life and make a decision that's very young, undeveloped, uncertain of future, no career opportunities and no real stability. So a lot could be said in the moment of passion. And in light of my mother and father, took care of us as I'm the youngest of three, of course, but they did the best they could, but they didn't make the best decisions because they were young. And so now, me being an adult, I realized that they did the best they could under the circumstances. I've watched my dad. I was with my mother. I was there when she banged out the truck of the car because he's with the other woman. I watched when she gave words to the other woman that she would go to the house and catch him in the act. This is my mother, a praying woman, but a praying woman that's in love with a man becomes a different type of woman. So no matter how much you pray, speak in tongues, when you're in love with a man, you're being a woman, that other side of you, the woman kick in, you gonna go for the gun, the knife, anything you can get your hands on because you're passionate. So there's no judgment. This is no judgment on what took place. So we get it. So I'm saying but she had to grow into loving herself so she wouldn't be so damaged at what my dad was doing in running multiple women. And then in the latter portion of her life, he even married the other woman. And so that was more trauma because she was still in love with that man. But until he divorced her, that's when she came to a real senses to realize, okay, this is about self-love, self-preservation. So you're young, you're much younger than my mother was. So you're getting it early, learning self-love, self-preservation, and all of that while your baby's father, your kid's father is getting his maturity, understanding things. And I believe he will circle back and see things different from a different lens. And that's why your position as a woman of faith and woman of prayer is to pray that your kids will be able to look at the eyes of their father, because I believe that they will. That is my the vibration I get from it. So we give you credence that you grew and that you took ownership. Now you have two kids you're raising and soon to be three. You're in nursing school. So, and you look like you're stress free. You look like you're all right. Look like you are just, no, that's God's peace. And that's because now you're growing. Kids are not the mistakes, but kids are results of the decisions that we make. And now we have to carry not only our burdens, but protect them, affirm them, and encourage them because they may not be getting that clearly from other sources, such as the kid's father. Grandma can do what she can do and dress them, bring them to school. So thank God your mom is still involved with her grandkids' life. You still have a great relationship with your mom, that she's still a part of your community. But I believe that your life is getting ready to change for the betterment. The only difference is you got to push harder and go harder, and you're young. That means you got the strength to do it. Some women would have already quit and dropped off. Some of the women would have already aborted babies and stuff like that. And it's clearly that I want my babies. So that decisions could have been made, and you made decisions. Let me ask you the question. I want you to talk to someone before we dive into your book, and we're gonna let you go. What type of advice you would give to a young woman who's watching that is in or entering a situation just like yours? What advice that you would give them to prevent the road that you're on now, to prevent them from going on that road because they're learning from you? Life is about lessons learned. So what lesson you would give another woman that's young to prevent them from going on the road that even though you're winning, but it is a battle to win because of your fate. Everyone will have the strength that you have. What advice you would give another younger woman?
Um, I would tell them, okay, so I would tell them no matter how vulnerable you feel, no matter how hard life is throwing things at you, don't just give in to the world and the worldly things that is being put into your ear and being put into you. Don't don't be don't be vulnerable to the world and worldly things. Just because you're around those things and you see those things happening to other people, don't try to fit in, basically. Just because your friend is out here messing with this person, or you feel like, oh, well, all my friends are having babies and I'm just not fitting in, I'm just alone. Don't give into that. Just keep on striving, just keep on going for your goals, and then the things that are meant to happen will happen. So like, just keep going. Like, don't give up on the goals because you feel like it's impossible to reach it or it's hard to reach it. Keep going for that, and then eventually it will happen.
Wow. Don't yield to peer pressure. This is from a woman to another woman. No, don't feel because this one is doing it, you have to do it, and just be free because she obviously yielded to some of the pressures, and now, life, she's on a different path. She will make it, but it's a hard road, but she's built for it. Another woman may not be built for that type of road. So she's going through her experience. So you won't have to go through your experience. So she's suffering and coming out of suffering. So you will not have to suffer. So good information. Now, and we can go deeper, but I'm going to shift a little bit here. But again, this is single parent. She has two kids and now soon to be three kids. Do you know the gender of your child that you are having?
Yes, I'm having another boy.
Oh, look at you. All right, congratulations. All right. All right, good deal. So another boy is on the rise, and it is well. So, question, because the audience want to know, because they want to know. So, is this baby for the kid's father previous, or this is the same tree or a different tree?
This is a different tree.
Okay. Okay. So, is this tree better, or just was something that just happened, or there's some type of development
Um,
with it?
well, it's basically something that happened in a moment,
Okay.
but this tree is better as a dad. I wouldn't say that he's a good boyfriend or a good man in relationships, but I feel like he would be better dad.
Okay. So this is not your Boaz. This is not the man that you're going to marry.
No.
This is a man that will take care of his son and move from there. So is
Yes.
there a desire for marriage?
Yes. I still want to be married, and I still I still believe that I will be married and live the life I want happily with my kids and my husband.
Okay, good. So definitely there's steps toward that as you are breaking cycles. That now my therapy session is kicking in. So you have to stay recognize the cycles because it is a cycle. Because at this point, that different paths would have reproduced a wholesome husband. Because the, in the moment it's good, but the embracing of who you are is the number one priority. You got to embrace who you are, and cycles will break because once you know who you are, no one can dictate to you. No man, no lover, no husband. You already postured to know who you are, and once that takes place, then the universe will attract wholesomeness because you're whole. So my advice to you is to become whole that you can attract what you need in marriage and make this blended community work because that man will have to share in the community of your offsprings, your children, and he may have children. So maybe a blended situation. So just be open and make sure that you are that the cycles as your mom broke them in the project, you're not living in the project no more. Your brothers broke the cycles of going to jail on drugs, your brother's being a chef. So the cycles are, the walls are being torn down. Now you're the last caveat of the family, even though you were first, but now you're last to deal with this cycle of, you know, prematurity, premature pregnancy, premature this coming before my time. I'm not quite ready, but yet it came. And now you're learning on the job, on the job training. You're learning how to be a mother, learn how to love yourself, on the job training. And there's no judgment. We can't judge her with decisions she made. This is not what this is. She's here to tell her truth. This is talk it out. We're talking it out. And this is the author's block. So this is a testimony for other women as you see this young lady giving her truth and still weathering through life's challenges and admitting, no, this was in the moment happened. So, and now you know without me being a daddy to you to say, now you know you need to take care of some things in the case that in the moment again happen. You have precautionary situations in place. So because no, we got to grow. We got to get you in a nursing certification. We need to get you at RN, right? We want you to be the RN, making six-figure plus a traveling nurse, put your kids in the best schools, making it work, and become a beautiful array of what I believe that you're going to be in the interim. I believe you will have a wholesome relationship with your kid's father, both sides. I believe there won't be this negativity, but you build that core of energy and wholesomeness in yourself. And I promise you, everything around you will bow to you. All right, you wrote the book. Your first book was what it is called Dear Mama, a story of survival and strength. What inspired that book and what is that book about?
Dear Mama basically is the long journey of being a single mother, taking care of my kids, and my postpartum journey, my postpartum depression journey. Um, what really inspired that book was with my second child. Um, I dealt with a lot from the start of the pregnancy, not medically because everything was perfect with her. I didn't have any medical problems during that pregnancy like I did with my first pregnancy, but mentally, I wasn't there. Like my depression started as prenatal depression. Like I was going through it. Like I was depressed. I was always alone. I felt alone and I was alone physically and mentally and emotionally. But after I had her, I was severely depressed. I didn't want to hold my daughter after I had her.
Wow.
It just was bad. Like my depression really was taking over. And I felt like that's one time in my life, no matter what I had went through growing up, no matter what I seen or experienced, that was the darkest time of my life after I had my daughter. And the depression was so bad that I wanted to end my life. A lot of women I've seen articles of women harming their kids and their self when
Wow.
they was going through postpartum depression. I never had the thought to harm my kids, but I wanted to harm myself. I didn't want to be here anymore. I wanted to die. Like I literally wanted to die. I didn't feel like I could take any more. And it was so bad to the point where I reached out for help medically. Like I went to my doctors and told them like I am going through postpartum depression. Like I need help. I can't take this. Like I don't want to be here. I really need help. And I'm not down in medicine because some people may need medicine, but I honestly felt like medicine was not going to be my care. So they tried to put me on medicine. I didn't go pick up the prescription. I didn't take the medicine because I feel like that wasn't for me. Um, in that moment, I began to give up on church and God. Like I always had faith all my life, but in that moment, my faith went out the window. Like I didn't feel like God was helping me. I didn't feel like He was listening to me. I didn't feel like nothing was working. And even coming to church, I was coming to church, but I wasn't coming to church, if that makes sense. I wasn't myself. I wasn't feeling like me. I just was feeling like a body just moving, just going with on with life. And when I began to feel like that, I was so deep into feeling like that that I thought it was no coming out of it. Like I was finished. And then it was one revival day on a Monday. You spoke to me and nobody knew what I was going through. Um, but I was sitting in church that day and I felt done. Like I said, if I could die right now, I would want to die. And I'm sitting in church feeling like that. And I was like, Lord, I say, if you listening to me, I, 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 I'm so serious. I say, Lord, if you listening to me, you will let prophet give me a word. Because I say I'm not feeling well. Like I'm feeling sick to my stomach that I'm feeling so bad. And after I said that, you called me up and you begin to pray for me. You begin to minister to me and let me know that I'm not going to be alone all my life. I'm not going to be stuck in the place that I was in. And I just, I couldn't do nothing but scream and cry because it's like the Lord let me know that
Wow.
he was hearing me. He just wasn't moving at the time where I wanted him to move. And that's basically what Dear Mama is based off of how I began going through postpartum depression. I was deep into postpartum depression, but the Lord pulled me out of postpartum depression.
Wow, that's powerful. Good deal. That's powerful testimony. And then you circle back and you did another book entitled If I Don't, Who Will? What is that about?
So If I Don't Who Will is a book solely based off of letters that I wrote. I wrote both of those books at the same time. Like I was working on one book and then I switched over to the other one. I was going back and forth. Um If I Don't Who Will is it's like a course of letters that I wrote to those who caused my depression to worsen and those who helped me heal during that depression.
Wow.
Um, it's basically what the title says. If I don't do it for my kids, who will?
Wow.
If I don't take care of them, if I don't clothe them and feed them, if I don't bring them to the doctor, if I don't pray for them, then who will? So in that book, I wrote letters to my kid's father,
Wow.
his mother, my mother, my kids. Like I wrote letters, and those letters are me really writing. I sat there going through that depression, and I didn't write all of the letters in one day. Anytime I thought about, okay, I'm feeling depressed. Whoever I thought about that day, I wrote that letter to. So that's what that book is based off.
You would say that second book is more about closure and forgiveness for you?
Yes, I feel like writing those letters really released a heavy weight off of me. Because as I wrote the first two letters, as I wrote them, the one to my kid's father and to his mother, it brought, I cried writing it, but it brought a relief to me. Like I finally feel free and I finally started healing. After writing that book with those letters, I finally started my actual healing process of letting go.
Wow.
like moving on, not just a regular, okay, I'm done with them. It really delivered me from the hurt that I was feeling, the hate that I was feeling towards them.
Wow. Powerful, powerful, powerful. We are grateful. We have young author, 25 years old, Keviyonia. Keviyonia Junior is here today giving a very transparent story, not just one child, not just two child, but now she has a third child coming and there's no husband, but yet it's cycles that has to be broken. She's experiencing the cycles that her mother went through with their dad. The only difference is she had three and she has a boy, two boys now coming, one boy coming, a boy, and the girl three. So that is amazing. So that's two boys and a girl. Your mom had two boys,
Two boys and a girl.
and so we can see the patterns here. But I believe that she's gonna still win. You know, sometimes your past can look like your future, but if God is with you on that road, you're gonna come out. We want everyone. You can. I want you to tell us, Keviana, how can people get your books? How can they get into contact with you?
My books are available on Amazon under my name. All you have to do is type in Keviana Junior, and both books will pop up.
A good deal. We're going to put the information on the screen for those who are watching, and we're going to get that information. We want you to support, support, support is everything. If you are a single mother, you're young, or you're older, you're inspired, invest in these easy read books. They're wonderful. You can get through it quickly. It's not a whole novel. You can get through it. She wrote her letters, which resolved it. I was very concerned that she would get to a place of forgiveness because that's the core of healing. No, book writing is about healing, not just attacking, but being healed from the trauma or whatever that is. So we want you to get the book from this wonderful author, Keviyonia Junior. She's great spirit, and congrats on the baby boy coming. So when are you expecting?
July 9th.
July 9th. Oh, wow. We may have a 4th of July baby. It's all good. So congrats on this young baby boy that you're carrying a seed from heaven. Kids are not a mistake. We make mistakes, but kids are not a mistake. We make decisions, but in spite of our decisions, heaven knows what he wants in the earth realm. So to be able to be a mother, to bring life into the earth realm and secure that life and making decisions, because the decisions that we make today will affect our tomorrow. And our tomorrow may not be you tomorrow, but the life of your child. So we see the patterns and of faith in being mobilized as a mother, position her household and move it from the projects into a different situation. And her son specifically having great jobs and aspiring to be great. And the daughter, which is the first, is the last one to accomplish this nursing degree. And we could have lost her, but God in his sovereignty, by her being connected to a local church, she prayed a prayer in church and God heard that prayer and God allowed the prophet to say, hey, you won't be alone, to meet her at a point of need. I tell anyone, stop avoiding going to church. I promise you, if you sat in church and pray, it could be a priest in a Catholic church. It can be a dance. It could be a song someone sang that set you free. God is in the healing business. He's in the saving business, but God, what he saves, he also heals. You could be saved, but not healed. I pray today that you are not just saying you saved, but saved people need to be healed because we make mistakes too. Saved people makes mistakes, and we have to be healed from the traumas. Life will serve you problems because it's a part of the humanity side. Life will allow you to make not always the best decisions, but yet in God, you will come out to make the better decisions. We want Keviana to pray for a person or a woman that's watching right now that need to know, hey, I feel alone. I feel like my world is caving. You got women out there who has 5 children, single with no husband. And the men that they may be attracted may not be the right fit. So what do? You let it go. If you got to travel alone with your kids, If it does not fit, don't force it. And many women are pressured, as she just shared. Don't yield to the peer pressure because you're pressured to be an image that does not exist. So that does not realistically wait on your time. Get you together, get your life together, get your credit, get your careers in place so you will have options and not having to settle because you feel lonely. Well, if you got kids, you're never bored because something's always going on with kids. When in the midst of the kids, when the kids we call it an empty nester, where the nest is emptied out, then you will want to have you intact so you can handle your kids going away. And a parent, you know in your spirit when it's time to let your children go. Some parents be looking forward. Hey, you're in the college, I'm done. I'm glad you get your life because now it's time for me to live my life now because I've made significant sacrifices for you. So it's all about growing up. No, heaven, God, spirituality is about growing up, to grow up and mature, not about the drama, busting the windows out your car, going to jail, all the things that she may have experienced in that love attraction to with the battles. And that we're not going to discuss it because we know how that goes. So, but she's above that now. And she's growing. Everyone in this equation of Keviyonia's life was forced to grow up. So we are grateful. We want you to pray for that person today and believe that what you've stated and your story have inspired. I want you to pray for them at this time.
Okay. Father God, I come to you today, God, asking you to heal and touch the heart of that mother, God. That mother that feels like throwing in the towel, God. That mother that feels like they have had enough, God. That mother that wants to give up, God. That feel like enough is enough and no more is there, God. God, I ask you, God, to touch and heal their heart and renew their heart, God. Make it new again, God. God, I ask you to show them, God, that it's okay to be alone, God. Because not that it's not that they're alone, God, because you are there with them, God. God, I ask you to send healing and blessings into their life like never before, Father God. And I ask you to show them that it is not, maybe it's not their time, God, that they're moving on your time, God, and that you will send any and everything that they need to move forward, God, and heal in the ways that you need them to heal, God. I ask you to bless and touch their mother on tonight, God. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. God bless you. If you believe that prayer, I want you to connect with Keviana. The information you need to connect with her is on the screen, and she would love to get that book in your hands. The platforms, Amazon there, or simply however she direct you. You want to send her some encouragement or sending your prayer request to her. I'm sure she wouldn't mind praying with you to help you through your situation. That's what the real women do. It's called the women's circle, or no, women, a circle of trust where someone may be facing it and may want to have an intimate conversation with her to know how that you do it and how you're doing it. So other women can be inspired. So we're grateful. Kevin Young, you did a great job today. We appreciate you coming to Talk It Out Authors Block. It is wonderful. Hey, if you're watching today, you say, hey, I'm an author. I want to be able to tell my story. Hey, you're welcome. Just go to amjworldwide.com and request to be a guest on our show. And man, we don't charge not a nickel nor a dime, but we do invite donations and just a seed to say thank you, just a token of appreciation. But Kevion is family to me. We appreciate you. I'm proud of you that you're making moves, that you were bold enough to send me a text, say, hey, I want to come on the podcast and be able to promote my story. Congratulations again. And we're grateful for you taking out the opportunity to come on the show. Listen, everybody, we're out of time, but not out of information. See us next time. Stay tuned to more authors are coming on. They're coming through. And then my emails are beginning to flood up with people who want to tell their story. Remember, you're living in the greatest prophetic season of your life. God bless you. I'll see you soon.